How could other European major soccer leagues catch up with the dominance of the English Premier League? Although I am not the financial and TV right broadcast expert, I will try to recent development of the overseas and local broadcasting right and could conclude the possibility of the other major soccer leagues in catching up with the EPL. Let's talk about the overseas right. La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, and even League One are working on to close the gap as soon as they can. The foremost one runner would be in La Liga. He successfully strikes a 5-year deal with MediaPro on his international rights, generating an additional of 4.4 billion European Euro dollars in revenue, marked on 30 increase on the previous cycle. Bundesliga, according to the reports, generates the lowest amount of international TV rights revenue, amounting to $240 million per year. In the recent years, however, they are catching up in the areas of international marketing. Well, DFL Sports Enterprise generate a full subsidiary called Bundesliga International. This subsidiary operates a branch office in Singapore and other Asian Pacific regions, and also established offices in New York and Beijing since 2018. So this is a very significant sign that they want to take a share in the international soccer market, and not to mention to generate many deals, as many as they could with other FIFA members country, and extending in influence to other global media networks like Fox, beIN Sports, and Eurosport. I think Bundesliga could be the potential top soccer league in the world, based on using the latest technological and innovative advances to create an extraordinary experience for the international audience. Not only for the media partners using highlight trips, being able to broadcast the matches in ultra high definition, and using new camera angles and graphics, the media partners could make use of the new international product portfolio to broadcast online games, reports, documentaries, interview, and other social media content that was very highly valuable to the international audience watching Bundesliga. Another special feature that DFL create to enhance the audience experience is the live match could automatically capture key highlights involving a particular player whenever you want, or whenever it is mentioned. Using a pre-designed parameters, we could see a particular player on the pitch. Well, for example, in USA, if you want to see player like Weston McKennie or John Brooks, you could enjoy the special highlight using this latest tool. And in the future, I think DFL is going to establish their own parameter for generating the clips or generating the matches, so that more specific and particular scenes could be traced on the screen. The high quality broadcasting experience serves to be the Bundesliga, who is the first European league to adopt this kind of new technology So that's why I said it has the high potential to be the top overseas European broadcasting list in the next decade, given that they further develop this kind of technology. Well, I think there's still a lot of works for them to catch up with Serie A and La Liga in terms of the numbers of revenues generated per year. Even though Serie A receive more than a double revenues from the international rights in the current season, and also given the effort mentioned by La Liga, I really look forward to see the rise of the Bundesliga across the world. It is getting more and more competitive in terms of the broadcasting quality and experience that are both relatively lacking in La Liga and Serie A across other countries. Well, for League One, because their international TV rights revenues are almost 20 times more than those of EPL, so I would not count as a potential international player in the foreseeable future, even though they could generate 59%, 69%, 79% more annually. But the revenue generated from the TV rights has been very low at first. If those leagues could generate more revenue, I'm sure a lot of teams, either in teams in the Premier League or the teams in the second tiers, could receive a fairly distributed amounts of money when comparing to the current situation. For example, in the Bundesliga, the 36 team was divided in the ratio of 5-4 to 3 to 2 to 1 in form of the pillar structures. So that may be somehow a bit complicated, but given with higher revenue and the possible reformed structure, it is going to be a better place for the teams in the league. So in general, the overseas broadcast is going well for the other 4 major leagues, and the gap between them and EPL seems to be getting less and less. Well, but we should not overlook the influence of the local broadcasting rights. Similar to the overseas broadcast rights, La Liga, Bundesliga, and League One, and getting stronger and stronger in the latest cycle. The latest cycle, for example, La Liga lasts from 2019 to 2022, and both the Bundesliga, it has been start from the seasons of 2017-18 to 2020 and 21. In La Liga, we have a new bidder for the TV right. The telecommunications giant Telefonica successfully helps the La Liga to generate nearly 30% more than the previous cycle. The main broadcaster, Sky Germany, helps the Bundesliga to generate 85% more than the previous cycle, amounting to $4.6 billion for the whole cycle. And even in the Serie A, League One, the Spanish group Media Pro helped the League One to generate more than nearly 60% than the previous cycle, replacing the traditional broadcaster Channel Plus to be the main broadcaster of League One starting from 2020. Only Serie A and EPL suffer a little bit, Serie A by 9% and EPL by 22% in terms of the revenue generated from the local broadcast. Well, don't be surprised that EPL suffer a rather high percentage of decrease in the revenue generated, because according to some analysts, it is rather a correction in the market due to the inflated growth in the past several years. But the trend is going on in the coming cycles. I would not be surprised if the La Liga or even Bundesliga could catch up with EPL in the local broadcasting rights. I would rather suggest another way to boost the local broadcasting revenue. For example, in Bundesliga, the principle of no single buyer rule has been upheld for a number of years, but its CEO start to question about this. I would like to see if a single buyer model monopoly could help to generate more and more revenue for the Bundesliga. Well, I think somehow we could introduce the broadcasting structure in the US. Well, the major sporting events like NFL and NBA, the league will first show the right to the terrestrial television networks like CBS, NBC, and Fox. And some of the leagues will also show the right to the cable television like ESPN. And then, even if one of the terrestrial television networks got the exclusive right in broadcasting the games, it doesn't mean that he is the only one to broadcast the games. Other broadcasters could also share some of the rather unimportant games, could do the pre-season, pro-season highlights, and could also do the interviews. That means to some extent the games would be broadcast nationwide. The baseball, you could see the basketball, and you could see the national football across different national television channels. In addition to the national level, the league could negotiate with local and regional broadcasters. Those broadcasters could include the over-the-air television station and regional sports networks. For example, if you are a fervent supporter of Chicago Bulls, you could see the games all around on WGN TV, for example. And please also note that the deal with the terrestrial national television channels is quite a long-term commitment. The deal usually lasts for around 8 to 9 years, given very high incentive for the broadcasting channel to strike a higher investment in order to provide a better live game experience and other off-the-match products and services to the audience. So either using the single or non-single buyer models, I think the US model in general could be adopted across the European countries, because in the European countries they also have local broadcaster. The major cities also have his own channel in addition to the national channel. Very general and basic principle that if more games are aired and broadcast, there would be more revenue to the soccer leagues and the TV stations, as there should be more advertising opportunities. When comparing the US model to the European current model, you will see the major difference. Even though, for example, Bundesliga upholding the no single buyer rule, it seems that most of the live matches are in the hands of Sky Germany. leaving only 40 or even less than 10 to other channels, namely Eurosport and ZDF. And in Syria, Sky Italia took the major share, leaving only 100 games to the streaming live platform Dancet. So it seems that it doesn't provide enough alternatives for the audience to choose. And as the deals only last for 3 to 4 years, the national broadcaster may not invest the same amount of money as those in the US did. But no matter the models the European country is going to take, coupled with the complexity of Brexit, there would be a potential obstacle for the list to getting higher and higher revenues. The digital streaming is going up at a pace faster than we expected. Amazon has been the new entrance to broadcast the EPL matches starting from this season. And as I just mentioned, Dancet is going into the market too. Dancet is originally the online streaming company, taking share of all the second-tier European league. In the US, DirecTV and Verizon Media is also taking quite a number of shares in the MFL network, using the Prime Video and Twitch as the platform. And last but not least, the so-called illegal online streaming across Asia is still a major phenomenon. So there will be some difficulties going ahead if the major soccer leagues other than EPL are going to catch up with the pole position of the EPL.